That coupled with the just living in that environment, it shaped me a lot. I was a very I don't want to say odd, but I was different in a lot of ways. I did some of the typical things kids do in my neighborhood. By the 7th grade, had crack in my pocket, had crack in my locker, selling crack, had a gun. But this is what I mean when I say I was a weird kid. I was doing all that, and in 8th grade, I was the SCA president. At the same time, all this going on.
Welcome to 80
or 80,000.
I'm your host, Moses Newsom.
And I'm your host, Big Stefano Lewis in the building.
Right. Are you living for 80 years? Or do you want to take your legacy and your impact well beyond 80,000 years? Let's find out. Our guest today is an absolute legend in the building.
Okay.
He's a powerhouse on the hip-hop scene.
Uh-huh.
A visionary entrepreneur, a respected promoter, and a true community leader.
Yep.
This man has done it all, hailing from the streets of Newport News, Virginia.
What?
He's turned his passion for music to a career spanning decades, making waves regionally, nationally, and internationally.
Talk about it.
Rocking talent shows as a kid.
Okay.
Signing major deals and performing on major stages.
Yep.
Most notably, the Vans Warped Tour. His journey has been nothing short of inspiring.
Yeah.
As the founder of Hood Platinum Media, he's built one of the most recognized independent labels across the Southeast.
Okay.
And if that wasn't enough, he's also an award-winning educator, an assistant principal, the co-creator of Go Talk Radio on Woo World Radio. He's been on stages with biggest names such as Jayz, Lil Wayne, Kendrick Lamar, and so many more.
Yeah.
His latest project, GoVerse TV, continues to push the culture forward. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm round of applause for my man, Double XL.
That's what I'm talking about.
Welcome to the show,
Oh,
brother.
that was amazing. That was dope.
What's going on, Double XL?
I'm good, man. Blessed to be here. Happy to be here. What's going on with y'all fellas?
We doing
man,
good.
we living good, man.
We doing
It's
good.
beautiful outside, man. The weather's beautiful. How you feeling?
I feel good, man.
Okay.
I feel real good. Been a busy day. We got up early. Shot the 4th video off my new project.
Dope.
So I'm feeling good. I feel good about it. 3 more videos to go because it's a visual album. So just ready to knock the other 3 videos out and get to it, man.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's talk about before we start, we're gonna do a little icebreaker. Man, why the hell, man, you don't like Tupac, man? Why? Why? I just want to know, man, because that's my guy. Why you don't like Tupac, man?
I don't dislike Tupac.
No, man, every time I talk to you, man, you don't like Tupac, man. What's going on?
No,
and you don't give him his credit, man.
Hold on. This is my thing. And
all right, go ahead.
This is honest. This is
honest.
fair.
Honest.
Okay.
This
Honest
is
and
fair.
fair. Honest and fair.
Straight from the heart.
Believe Tupac is a talented person.
Okay.
Lyrically, as a rapper, I do not hold him in the same regard as everybody else.
Damn.
Okay. Why is that?
I don't see why he's held in such a high regard as a rapper, as an actor, as an activist, as a visionary, as a storyteller.
Yeah.
I give him all that. But bar for bar, I can name 50 people that can rap better than him.
Golly, not 50.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Man, shout out to 50 Cent, man. Not 50, man.
So
You can't name 50 people that's better than Tupac Shakur. Come on, man.
Come on, man. Come
Man,
on.
stop playing, man.
That's a
There's
stretch.
no way.
But so
That's a stretch.
let's dig a little bit deeper into what you're saying. So you're saying from a lyrical standpoint.
From a lyrical, for the rules of what I judge a rapper by. The thing is, we all have different rules. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, even though I'm from Virginia, heavily East Coast influence.
Okay.
Where you had to know how to rap to get respect. So the way I think about hip hop is based around that. I know it's other things other people look at, but not me.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta be, if I hear a rapper and I feel like anybody can do it, it's not, it doesn't hold, I don't hold a high regard for it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, oh, anybody can do that.
Right.
It doesn't sound special to me.
Right.
Not trying to negate his talent in any form or fashion. When people be like, he's in the top 3, I'm like, how?
Right.
In my opinion.
Right.
I don't see it.
So me coming from that where me being used to rap, putting albums out and being able to record, I understand and respect what you're saying from a lyrical standpoint. But I think where the impact where Tupac is bringing, what a lot of people look at is everybody that can be lyrical or rap can't make hit songs. And we know that there's a difference. Some people have both. They can be lyrical and they can make hits. Tupac was more simplified in the sense of when you come from a lyrical content and you talk about adjectives and putting words together, he was more simple, but he knew how to put a vision together. When you hear his songs, you could actually see what he's talking about. And I don't think a lot of rappers could do that. So that from an impact standpoint, I think that's where he's moved up. If you break it down to lyrical in terms of like battle rap, or you talk about your Kendrick Lamar's, and you're talking about your lyricists who could really get down and dirty, he may not be able to do that. Yeah. But when it comes to visionary and being able to put a movement together, I think that's where
I look at music like art. It's like art. And it's certain type. You got abstract, you have realist art, and I would be a fan of realist art. Like, dang, they drew that exactly how it looked.
Right.
I don't want to see the shapes and be trying to interpret stuff. No, he painted that just like it looks.
Right.
And so if that translates to rap, I'm not saying nothing's wrong with the abstract, but I don't have the eye for it.
Got it.
That's basically what it is. And then people like Stefano running around here and making people think I hate Tupac, and I don't. Now, all my friends love Tupac. I do troll them. I troll them hard. I troll them super hard. But that's a whole nother story.
Okay. No doubt.
All right, we'll go to question number 1. Growing up in Newport News, Virginia, how did your environment shape who you are today?
My environment had a profound effect on me. The blessing in it is that my mother probably had a stronger influence on me, which was for the better. Because when you grow up in an environment like I grew up in, I've seen a lot of my friends succumb to it. And the crazy part is I did some of the silly things they did, some of the exact same things. But the blessing is a lot. Sometimes luck plays into it. But my environment shaped everything about me. I was born to teenage parents. The first 4 or 5 years of my life, I lived with my grandparents on both sides. And that had a huge, profound effect of being around older people.
Right.
My granddaddy was a minister.
Okay.
He was?
Yeah, in the church. So I grew up I went to church 8 days a week growing up.
Wow.
Yeah,
8 days.
Yeah, we went to church, bro.
Okay.
But that coupled with the just living in that environment, it shaped me a lot. I was a very I don't want to say odd, but I was different in a lot of ways. I did some of the typical things kids do in my neighborhood. By the 7th grade, had crack in my pocket, had crack in my locker, selling crack, had a gun. But this is what I mean when I say I was a weird kid. I was doing all that, and in 8th grade, I was the SCA president. At the same time, all this going on.
Yeah.
What?
I've always been that type of just compartmentalize things. I always had a desire to do good in school. I didn't care what my friends was doing. If I always had the personality, if I was going to do something, I wanted to be the best at it, whether it's sitting in the classroom or when we in the streets or if it's rapping. But my community had a profound effect. It's crazy. I'm 45 now, and I still have in a lot of ways, a hood mentality when it comes to things. And some of it I'm trying to shake. I want to get rid of.
Yes.
But some of it serves me well.
Right.
And it's just being smart enough to discern which parts are good to keep and which parts you got to let go. And that's my constant fight day to day.
I love it.
Let me ask you a question. So, when you think about being raised or being born to teenage parents, you mentioned that, and you having to be raised by your grandparents, that's a lot of situations across America.
Yeah.
So when you think about, fast forward, you got into streets, you got into drugs. How was that introduced to you that you think because of an effect of you being raised by your grandparents, not having that direct parent contact with your parents, or what was that like?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I was raised by my grandma. My mother definitely raised me, but I was in my grandparents' house.
Gotcha.
So their influence was there. Just raised in that environment. I don't know if people really understand in the 90s how easy it was access to get your hands on drugs and guns.
Yeah.
I was considered a good kid. By all intents and purposes, all the adults in my life would have told you I was a pretty good kid. And yet I still got involved in drugs. It was normal. Everybody I knew in my age group sold drugs. It was that easily accessible. It was, you walk outside, it's right there.
Right there.
It was not hard to get. It was not hard to do at all. And that's kind of the scary part. Like, it was like literally right there.
Just easily accessible right there.
Easy.
Did you have anybody in your circle that, because I know when I grew up here too, and I had friends that was hustling, And I had some friends that wasn't hustling. And I had some friends that loved me enough to say, hey, I know that ain't you. You stay over here while I'm over here. Did you have anybody like that?
Man, to be honest, my whole friend group was hustling.
Okay.
Like it was part of the culture of that time. If you're trying to get some money, too young to work.
Yeah.
Won't none of us thinking of buying a house. We just wanted to get some sneakers,
right,
and be able to go to the corner store and buy some stuff.
Right.
That was pretty much what we was trying to do. It wasn't a big vision for it at the time. The great thing, the most profound thing I had was a mother with great vision. Mm-hmm. When she did find out what I was doing, she threatened to move me to North Carolina with my father. Or and it's the greatest thing she could ever did. I don't know if she understands. She said, you got to sign up for high school football. If you stay home, you got to do something. And the best decision she ever made for me was for me to sign up for high school football. It was the most profound thing it was a game changer.
Wow. How did that change you?
Because when I started playing football, I got locked in.
Okay.
I met my father figure.
Okay.
My father was in my life. Don't get me wrong. My father's 14 years older than me. My father was very present, but at a 14-year age gap, and he recently passed in December.
Oh, sorry about that.
And he had his struggles with drugs and things like that. He didn't have all the tools that he needed. His presence was good, but he just didn't have everything that I needed. And I met a strong black man who was my football coach, Tommy Raymond. Mm-hmm. Who became my father figure, and everything this man said out of his mouth was gold to me. If he told me to run through a wall, I would have went and ran through it.
What?
And I locked in, and he was the first person that looked at me and told me I was going to college.
Wow.
It won't even it was like, yeah, we got to get this straight. You got to work on this. You are short for your position, so you're going to have to be extra good in this, but you have the talent to go to college.
Wow.
And he put that in me my freshman year, and I locked in to everything he said. He looked at me, he said, if you do everything I tell you to do, you will be a scholarship athlete. So I tried to do everything he told me to do. And by doing that, I had very little time to be outside hustling and doing dumb stuff. We was locked in.
Wow. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
What was the turning point in your music career? Because you mentioned football and some of your gateways out of the streets and out of doing negative things. You found some positive things with football and also with music.
Yeah.
So what was the turning point? What I'm gonna go even further. Tell us about the day you fell in love with hip hop.
Man, I was young, man. I was a kid. I was probably 5 or 6 years old.
Okay. Okay.
My mother is the oldest of 7 children.
Right.
I told you we grew up in my grandmother's house, so I got 6 uncles. But they're more like my brothers because all my uncles is 1 year older than me, 3 years older than me, 4 years older than me, 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
So I grew up looking up to them.
Yeah.
And they were big into hip hop. So we mimic everything they did. Cardboard in the backyard, break dance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was too fat to break dance. But my uncle Robert used to rap. And one day we found a folded up piece of paper in his room and he had a rap laid out on it. And
okay.
So, unknown story, but I bit my first rap. I stole my uncle rap and put my name in it. I went to school and
so Uncle was a ghostwriter.
Yeah, and basically, and the reaction.
That's dope, though. Yeah, that's dope. I like that.
The reaction I got from my classmates was like, "Oh!" and it felt so good. Then I just started. I naturally started right.
Yeah,
and it ended up just being a gift I had. I was always one of the best in the room.
Yeah.
It was something that came naturally to me.
Yeah.
And so I've been rapping since I was young. I won every talent show I ever been in until I was about 17. Woo. We lost our first talent show, me and my brother at 17. We ain't lose it. We took second place, but that's like a loss.
Wow.
I don't know if y'all remember in 96 what was going on, but it's a girl, I think her name was Rhonda. She sung Killing Me Softly. Won't nobody beating Killing Me Softly in 96.
No, sir. No, sir.
Nobody.
She won the talent show. We took second place.
Wow.
So but anyway, I went to Norfolk State, which was a blessing. It got me out of my environment. Mm-hmm. I got to see that there's more than one type of black person.
There you go.
Black people from all walks of life, and we're on a campus. I'm away from Newport News. 103 Jams is in walking distance from the campus.
Yep.
DJ Jack of Spades, Stress, everybody who would eventually become somebody is there at the campus.
That's right.
And I'm meeting these people. So instead of running around downtown Newport News trying to tell people I'm hot,
right,
I'm running around in Norfolk. So I'm running around in different circles. I'm meeting the people I need to meet. And it's just a different thing. I'm rapping for people and they're like, hey, give me a song. I'll put it on the radio. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. See?
You know, so
exclusive.
I met everybody I needed to meet over there. Yes. So by the time I moved home, when I graduated from college, I came home. I'm coming home with these connections from the South Side, and I'm bringing them to Newport News.
Okay.
So I'm a 757 artist as opposed to a Newport News artist, and that helped me a lot. I got into a contest. It was a year after I graduated. Rockefeller Records had a tour. It was Jay-Z, Beanie Siegel.
I remember that.
50 Cent, Missy Elliott, Timberland, Busta Rhymes.
Okay.
And they was at the amphitheater. They did a contest where they was looking for battle rappers. It was 103 battle rappers, and out of 103 battle rappers, I made it to the top 2.
Woo!
And we got the battle.
Wait. Pause.
Top 2.
Pause.
Top 2.
Pause. It was 100 and what?
103.
And you was what?
Top 2.
Continue.
And so I made it to the top 2. We got to go to the amphitheater. It was a big deal. 15,000 people.
Wow.
Man.
Were you nervous?
I don't get nervous on stage.
Okay.
I get anxious before I go because I'm ready to go.
Right.
But just, you got to remember, I'm the grandson of a preacher. My granddad used to put me on stage at 4 and tell me to preach.
So I was nothing.
I ain't know what I was talking about. But I've always been in front of people. I've always been a sociable kid, not scared to talk.
Right.
So that all this building up to this moment. I've been performing since I was 6, so I'm used to a stage.
Right.
So it's us two, 15,000.
Wow.
The battle segment is between. It's 50 Cent is coming off the stage, and they're preparing the stage for Jay-Z's set.
Wow.
And I battled this kid. I don't remember his name, but I feel sorry for him because he ain't staying.
Y'all hear that?
And I won 3 rounds. I killed them right there on stage. Just Blaze was like hosting it.
Yeah.
Right there, and that changed everything as far as for me, for my visibility at home.
Yes.
I won the contest the way it was supposed to go. I was supposed to move on to the next round. About 3 months later, I was sitting at home watching MTV, watching them do the next round. For some reason, I didn't get the call. Everybody who won in every other state was there.
Except you.
I wasn't there.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know where the ball was dropped. I don't know if we're not in a big enough market, because the people that was there was the New York market,
right?
The LA market, the Atlanta market. And so I don't know where Hampton Roads falls into that part of visibility.
Wow.
I don't know if it was a disconnect between 103 Jams or I just don't know. But I never got that call.
It's so funny. We're gonna unpack that probably a little bit later in the interview. But you're right. VA, we are in a market where people look at us differently when it comes to the industry. I was in the industry. I remember being back in the hallways of Bethel High School. I don't know if you remember Wookie and Pookie.
Yeah.
Those are my guys. We was in the hallway in the middle rapping in circles, just killing it. But did we ever get the respect? You know, we got Missy Elliott, we got Timberland, all this good talent come out of Virginia, but it always felt like we had a stigma against Virginia.
But we have to, this is my thing. And y'all got to excuse me. My degree is in history. I'm a historian by trade. I've been taught to talk about things without emotional, so don't get emotional about nothing I'm about to say.
No, this show.
And I'm just saying the people watching.
Yeah,
I'm speaking fact, and sometimes the truth hurts. Yeah. We are a satellite market, and as soon as we can understand we are a satellite market, the sooner we can finagle around that. What I mean by a satellite market, we are not a major market. We are attached to other markets.
Okay.
We are really a part of other markets, and the reason you know that because our major morning show is what? It used to be the Buddha Brothers, but now it's what?
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. Yep. Is that here in this region?
No, not at all.
No, they're syndicated here.
Yeah. So when you have syndicated shows and you don't have homegrown shows, that kind of show you how your market is portrayed.
Right.
We don't have any major sports teams.
Nope.
And that's a whole nother reason why. I don't know if y'all want to get into that. I know we only got 45 minutes, but
we got more time than that.
I've studied why we don't have those teams.
So break that down.
Because we have 7 cities.
Mm-hmm.
and we approach everything as individual cities. And no city is big enough to support it. Think about it. If we were to get a team, it would probably have to be Virginia Beach or Norfolk as the front runner to get the team.
Right.
And neither one of those cities, they have hundreds of thousands of people, but none of them have millions of people.
Right.
If this Hampton Roads made a executive decision to become one city and treat the 7 cities like boroughs instead of separate cities, it would work better. Because even though Virginia Beach or Norfolk would be the front runner, they don't have the land to build a stadium. The stadium would have to be in Suffolk or Chesapeake.
Oh, okay.
How do you split that tax revenue if we're not all one city?
Gotcha.
Now, when you bring those we get a sports team, let's say we get a football team. You just literally infuse 100 and something millionaires into our market.
Wow.
Now the clubs are making more money. The hotels are making more money. The barbers are making more money. Everybody's making more money.
Y'all hear this?
So you're creating more wealth.
Yes.
How are we going to get artists signed when all the millionaires are white?
Bars.
Wow. Nobody has said it, and I'm gonna pause here real quick. We have interviewed quite a few people. Nobody has put it together as well as you put it together. Continue.
Yeah, I studied this in school.
Yeah.
This is what has to happen for it to work. Like seriously, think about it. 7 cities. All of a sudden our region will have 50-something high schools. Wow. We will be able to compete with some of the biggest markets in the world. Look at the land we still have to build. 7 cities combined as one city. We still function as cities. New York does it. At one point in time, the Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Long Island, and who did I mix? Queens. They were all individual cities.
Really?
But they got together and said, if we joined together and made this one city, we would be the biggest city in the world.
Wow.
Those were all cities. They still function as cities.
Wow.
But it's just the ideology of we're one city.
Right.
That was able to bring the tax revenue. Everybody keep the mayor. You just call it something else.
Yeah. And
the overall 7 cities will have its own mayor. But once you bring those type of things into the city, you bring more millionaires and that money starts circulating and everybody gets a piece of it.
That's right.
You see it in D.C. They got the museums there. That draws millions of people.
Yeah.
They got the sports teams there. So now you got brothers that can go on the corner with a cooler and sell water for $3. Everybody's eating off that.
Right.
Everybody finds a way. But until we can't infuse these millionaires here because we're not using our strength. We're showing people a pinky or this finger and say, hey, we got this over here, instead of going like this and say, hey, we got this.
Right. Right.
So until we find a way to join all that, I don't see a future in us having a sports team or anything until we realize where we at. You have to realize, you have to admit what your weaknesses are in order to make them a strength.
Well, this is what 80,000 is all about, really digging to the core of what the issues are, what the problems are, coming together. And what's so funny about what you say, XXL, is, the cities are not coming together. It's kind of like black culture, right? So you got all these artists, you got all these different producers, and nobody seems to want to come together. Everybody's all about, oh, I don't want you to get ahead of me, or I don't want you to know too much more than me that affects my career. If we all just come together, and it's not just about the city and the politics, that's a big part of it, but we as a culture, especially here in 757, it's so much talent here.
Infrastructure, man. Think about this. If Teddy Riley never moved here, we wouldn't have what we got. Think about it.
Wow.
Him coming here triggered Pharrell.
Yep.
Clips, Missy, Timberland.
Wow.
You remove them, we're not known for what we're known for.
Right. Right.
It took him to move here. What moved here was infrastructure.
Yeah.
And now this is again, we're critiquing. This is not a knock on any of them, but for some reason those artists, and I think it has something to do with where we're from, and them feeling like here we look at them as big, but in the industry they look at it as they're still trying to fight.
Right.
For some reason, they were not able to bring or didn't want to bring that infrastructure back here. Wow. But I can name an instance at each of them trying to pour into an artist, and the artist didn't necessarily work. If those artists would have worked, I feel like the next one would have worked.
Right.
I feel like if it was important for Family to work.
Right.
Family is so Norfolk.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he is.
If he would have worked, do you know how many things would have came from him? Because he's still so attached
He's so
to
attached.
the culture.
He's so attached.
I was I was praying for him to work.
Yeah, I was too. I remember those
because it would have helped
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
yes.
again, it ain't
Yes.
about me. It ain't about me. It's about us.
Yes.
I'm gonna find my way.
Yeah.
I just need y'all to find your way. By you finding your way is gonna help me find.
What do you think the disconnect with that was? Because family was a big part of that era, and it just never seemed to move the way we wanted to. What do you think hindered that?
At the time, and hindsight is 2020, right? Hindsight is 2020. The single he put out, "Rock and Roll" with Little Flip, I think was a great feature. But in hindsight, I wish he could have put like Jayz on that song, because I feel like Jayz was a bigger artist. And then the marketing dollars they put into that record, I wish they would have put into a song called what was it, Vaughn? What was the song on Hood Platinum 3? "Hit Me on My Beeper."
Okay.
If they would have put the marketing behind that record,
Yeah.
he would have been out of here. I think that was the record.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's about the record we choose.
Yeah.
And music is part talent, it's part marketing dollars, and it's part luck. Part of it got to be right time type
Right
thing.
timing. Right timing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even when you think about Clips and you think about the first song they dropped, that took a long time for it to go through the DJ networks and for it to work and that record to really work. But they had to go out of Virginia.
But think about what I said earlier about if we was one city. That's part of the mentality, a part of the culture, what we just talked about. When the Clips dropped the song, Newport and Hampton didn't look at it like, oh, we got an artist. We said, oh, Norfolk, Virginia Beach got them artists.
There you go.
Yeah.
But if we all had the mentality of we're one, we got one.
Yeah.
The Clips made it. We got one, and we're putting behind Virginia Beach because we feel a part of it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
It
It would have had a bigger impact.
Yeah.
That's the difference when an artist from, let's say, in Atlanta comes out. All the people in the surrounding the counties, they feel like they're a part of that.
And that's the crazy thing about Grinding hit in Atlanta in the South. They had to go out of this market and it hit outside of the market, and then we jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
That's almost, I'm just sound passionate to say it, that's almost hurtful.
Yeah.
To have an artist have to go out of the market just to be respected in the market.
We just, it's hard to change a mind frame of we have these invisible lines that separate us.
Yeah.
And we got to look at it as all one with it.
Yeah.
What's really the difference between a guy from Hampton and a guy from Chesapeake?
Nothing.
Like,
and it's just like life too. Everything gotta line up, And I'll break down a situation really quick that somebody very important to me, and I'm connected to all this that happened. We had a gang. We had an NWA, and I'm gonna break down our NWA. So we had Timberland, Magoo, Aaliyah, Genuine, Nicole Ray, Missy Elliott.
Woo!
And what happened was, and it's just the luck of the draw. What happened was Aaliyah passed. And then right after that, Jay-Z and Dame broke up. Right before they broke up, if anybody remembers, Nicole Ray had signed with Rockefeller.
I remember that.
When she signed with Rockefeller, they were together. The week after that, they broke up. For whatever reason, they went their separate ways. The executive came to Nicole and say, choose. Well, she picked Dame. When she picked Dame, her career plummeted from there. And the gang, our NWA, broke up. And it's just a happenstance. It's just a happenstance of things that just don't line up. But if that group had stayed together, and I'm going to give you the names again, Timberland, Magoo,
Gotcha.
Missy, Aaliyah lives, Nicole Ray stays with Rockefeller.
Whole different ball game.
A whole different ball game. Double XL, your single Troy P gained international recognition. What is it about that song that connected with so many people?
Oh man, man, Troy P had went crazy, man.
Yeah, it did. It did.
When I first heard the beat, it just, oh my God, it did. So I just remember being in the studio and just listening to it over and over and over. And shout out to my man Terrific.
Terrific. Shout out Terrific.
Shout out Terrific.
I'm just, and at the time, me and my lady had just got together, and I'm like, oh man, she was the finest woman I've ever been with.
She's still fine. She's still fine.
Like, but for me, you know, I'm a big dude. You know, I had some nice looking women, but I was like, yo, jackpot, we ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's the woman of my dreams. So, I'm in the studio mumbling the hook, and I'm like, yo, I'm about $1 and the chick, they're like Joy Palomala. You know, cause my girl switch up the hair, and at the time she had the wet and wavy joint.
Yeah,
right. I'm like, girl, you come in looking like Joy Palomala. So I'm in there playing with the hook, and then I'm like, yo, I ain't got the voice for this hook. I need a, you know, I got a deep, you know, I need a youthful, right. Cool voice. I'm like, man, I got to get Wop The Beast on this record. He the energy I need for this record.
Right.
And you know how Wop is. Wop like, hey, man, I do the hook for you, but you got to give me 8 bars. I got to be on this jump, man. I say, whatever, Wop. And, man, we did this song, and I sent it out to the DJs, and I remember Jack of Spades calling me. He was like, yo. He said, this is perfect. I was like, what you mean? And matter of fact, I met with him. We was at 103 Jams. He was like, this record mixes with everything. And I said, what you mean? And he started mixing it, and I think he played the Gotti jump. I'm geeked up. And then it went perfect. Then he played the 2 Chainz don't. It's on the same tempo. He's like, I don't know if you meant to do this, but this jump goes with the tempo of everything
that's going on.
So he can mix it well with everything.
Right.
Yeah, and Jack did me a solid, man. Jack always been like a brother to me. And Jack like, yo, X, I'm going to throw this on DigiWax for you.
Ooh.
He threw it on DigiWax for me, and it went crazy. We started hearing it everywhere.
Going viral before viral.
Yes. It went everywhere. It was going crazy. Next thing I know, I'm getting... Yo, somebody saying they heard it in D.C. They played in Atlanta. Somebody heard it in Florida.
That's what's
and
up.
What really blew my mind is... I got an inbox from DJ Weedum in France. He was in France.
In France.
International.
Yes.
You global.
In France. And he had put it on his mixtape in France. He's one of the biggest DJs in France named DJ Weedum. And I was like, oh, we gone.
That's it. We out of here. Out of here.
We gone. And at the times, any show that was coming here, we was on it. The good thing, I was doing that before we even got to that point. So when the single dropped, everything just lined up. Anybody that was coming to the town, we was on it. I had a beautiful relationship with Creative Nation. Shout out to Doe Wop. Them like my
man. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
Like they like my brothers. We done always done business together. Good business. It's good just to know good, solid brothers, and they're good and solid.
No.
I always do solid business, so we all had that relationship. So it was nothing but a call. Yo, X such and such coming to town.
Yeah.
Yo, you gonna open it up? Yeah. So we was able to get the single out here that way, and man, I think I may have performed at the Norva. I know, I don't know for this to be fact, but I feel like I probably performed at the Norva more than anybody.
Wow.
Like seriously,
Exclusive.
like I know I performed at the Norva.
And the Norva, for those who don't know, the Norva, that's where it's at.
That's big time.
That's big time. That's big for 757 culture.
And I'm blessed, man. I can actually say I performed at every big venue here. Probably the one that was the biggest for me is performing at the Hampton Coliseum. Me and my brother got to perform there. That was our childhood dream. We just take our wrestling men, set them on a shoebox, and act like it was us at the Hampton Coliseum.
Wow.
And we got to open up for Rick Ross, Trey Songz, Little Bootsy.
I remember that.
At Hampton Coliseum, 12,000 plus. Wow. And the beauty part of it was a changing of the guard at that time because it was 2008. And usually when open the acts go on, it's like, when they're going off, we ready to see the Right. But no, I still got the footage on YouTube. 12,000 hands in the air. Wow. for a local act.
Wow. How did that feel to you?
God.
It was a game changer. It felt good. It felt good.
Right.
It felt good.
What was so when you think about those pivotal moments, in front of 12,000 people, something you dreamed about, and to be able to live it out and see the crowd engage with you, you engage with the crowd, what changed in your life and your career at that point? Were the phone calls different? Were your business deals different? What was the change that started to come into your life at that point?
I'm getting phone calls from everywhere. I was dealing with everybody because what I developed over the years is a business acumen at the same time. So when I got calls, you just won't talking to an artist. I'm trying to turn it into the next opportunity, not just for myself, but for my label mates and artists in the area. Because at the same time all this is going on, I started my first open mic, which is called Rock the Mic.
Right, I remember that.
And we're talking, I remember the first Rock the Mic we ever did, and I never got into promotions. Miss Blends called me one day because we used to do shows, and I show up 20, 30 deep. Miss Blends had a club, Voluntary Lap, and they were struggling. And she was like, yo, X, you ever thought about doing a club night? And I was like, nah. She's like, you want to do one? Sure. She said, oh, but one thing I got to tell you. I said, what? It's a gay club. It's a what?
Ooh, really?
No, but we were trying to spray one dude straight nights. I said, okay, but that's y'all, okay, all right. So they gave us a night, and I was like, yo, sitting down with Vaughn, P, my other friends, like, yo, what's missing? Yo, we ain't got nowhere to rap. At that time, clubs didn't let
they
rappers
didn't have
book.
no platform for that. Yeah.
No, so
Exclusive
we sent out the flyer, MySpace at the time, let everybody know.
Took way back with that, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm like, yo, we like, yo, we get 30, 40 people, yo, we doing it.
Yeah.
First night, 300 people showed up.
Woo!
Oh my God.
My God.
And to be honest, we ain't know what we was doing.
Early.
No, we didn't know what we was doing. But we was doing it. We was learning on the job. So all of a sudden, we got 300 people. We like, oh, what we doing? And it became, we did it every week.
Wow.
And it ended up being a 5, 6, 7 year run of doing it every week. There's never been nothing like it. I'm not a boast or bragging person, but I know for a fact that Rock the Mic is the reason that 7 city artists came together. It was the first place where Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Newport News, Hampton, everybody came, and it was all love from artists from all cities. That's when you started seeing artists from Newport News collaborate with Norfolk, do songs together, be in each other's hood. That started at Rock the Mic.
Rock the Mic.
Rock the Mic.
That started there. So that started a lot of things. And I was the host. I said, well, I'm gonna host it. Before then, I never hosted nothing. That's how I became a host. That's how I became a comedian. Everything I learned by being on the mic and cracking jokes, and now people laughing. They're like, oh, I'm like, that was funny?
Right.
I didn't know I was funny. Like, I literally didn't know I was funny.
So you started to discover yourselves in ways that you didn't even realize at that point.
That I didn't even know.
Wow.
From there. And I started making money off of this from Rock the Mic. I built all my skills at Rock the Mic. And so did other artists. They was able to come every week, hone their craft.
Wow.
So from that, I was able to build different relationships, learn different things. I learned about the club. That's how I learned about the club.
Yeah.
That's how I learned how that works. That's how I learned how to cut those different deals. That's how I learned to go from a Thursday night to a Friday to a Saturday. That's why club owners are comfortable with hip hop acts on the weekend now.
Yeah.
That all started there. And so I was able to build my business skills from that.
Yeah.
And every opportunity that I got, I just didn't use it as a rapper. I was able to turn it into another opportunity. I would book the DJs from the radio stations.
Wow.
I never asked them to play my record. I book you to come to the club.
Wow.
I perform my record.
Wow.
So you can see it. Then
That's
you,
right.
I need that.
Exactly.
That's an honest exchange.
Right.
You not listening to it because I trapped you in a corner. I paid you to be here tonight.
Right.
You like the record.
Right.
And guess what? You got to hear some other artists too.
There you go.
So I was able to build relationships like that. It got to the point where I did so many shows that I'm like, I was able to say, they would call me to open up and I'm like, yo, I don't match this artist. But this dude who did my open mic, match it. Let's give it to him. So we was able to spread the love to other artists.
That's dope.
And so a lot of that infrastructure, I understood early that we didn't, all the stuff I'm talking about infrastructure, I understood we didn't have it. So everything I was doing, and a lot of my friends didn't understand it at the time, and maybe I didn't do the best job of articulating it, but it was the area needed it.
Yeah.
The area needed it, and it still needs it. So it was about trying to build an infrastructure. So that's what Rock the Mic changed me as an artist and a businessman.
That's dope. That's dope.
Wow.
Now you worked with a lot of artists from Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, Lil Wayne. When you think about all those circles you started to get into now and really just spread your wings, what artist or what moment stands out the most to you?
I learned a lot from all of them. I have a lot of regrets. in these situations, and it comes from the way my personality is. I'm a very proudful person. I try not to be, but I've been in rooms with all these people, and they'll be sitting right there, and I will not say a word to them.
Wow. So, unpack that a little bit, because help us understand, because I know when it comes to the music industry, it's all about building relationships.
I didn't understand at the time that.
Got it.
I was so confident in my talent that I felt like if they were there to see me, that if they saw me, we was going to build a relationship. And not recognizing all the time they're not paying attention to who on stage and they getting ready. I'm just thinking I'm in these circles. I just,
they should already know who you are and become
not they should know who I am, but they're going to see what I do, and it's going to make
connect
sense
from that point.
Yeah.
Did you say you had a manager, right? At that point?
Yes.
What was his influence, or what was his conversation around that? Did he see the opportunity to be able to connect and make those deals happen?
Well, a lot of situations, it was just me in the room because I wasn't able to take anybody else. And that would have been a game changer. Like at the Rock the Mic tour, Jay-Z was right there. I was right here.
Wow.
I didn't say anything to him. One of my biggest regrets. I should have said something.
So I want to pause right here, because one of the things I want to do with the podcast, what we want to do, we want people to learn.
Yeah.
So for aspiring artists, when you're out and you're in these opportunities around these different artists, it's good to have people skills.
And it's good to
management.
have people around you that could do the things you're not strong at.
There you go.
Yeah, that's not my strong suit. I as a 45-year-old man, I can tell you what my flaws are that I may not been able to identify or be willing to identify.
Yeah.
One thing I know about myself, I don't like rejection. I'll talk myself out of it before I come to you and you tell me no. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Before I even try.
Yeah.
But if I know that about myself now, I'm gonna put people around me that's not scared.
Right.
I have all the talent in the world, but if I'm not gonna open my mouth and let you know, what's the use of having it?
Right.
But these are not the skills I had at the time. Yeah. So that's my biggest takeaway. I was in a room with these people, and some people who were probably less talented than me got the opportunities because they were not scared to have conversations with these people.
Wow.
That was my biggest takeaway.
Wow. That's dope. That's dope to
Let's
know.
get into a little bit. We're gonna switch gears just a little bit.
Let's do that.
And I want to get a little personal with you.
Let's talk. I'm here for it.
I want to get a little personal with you. Within the last year, I would say, you had your foot amputated.
Yes, sir.
And if I'm correct, there was a trip to Vegas. And something was going on, and you didn't take care of it. And I want to also break this down to you too, or breaking it down to the audience. You've been doing dialysis yourself, in your private setting, for many years now.
3 years.
Something that people probably never knew.
They don't know. I know they don't know.
And it's one of the biggest things that you have dealt with in your life. Am I right in saying that?
Facts.
Talk about what you've been through, what happened in Vegas, and how you feel about it right now.
About 7 years ago, I went to Vegas to visit my uncle. I got an uncle live out in Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has a rooftop patio at his house. Everybody knows Vegas has dry heat.
Yeah.
Like it's dry.
Yeah.
So it's manipulating. You don't know how hot it is sometimes.
Right.
And I'm on the roof. He has a carpet similar to the one you got right here on the roof.
Yeah.
And I got my socks on, but I don't got my shoes on. We in this house.
Okay.
I got one foot on the carpet. The other foot is kind of on the concrete.
Right.
Me not realizing that that concrete is cooking on the bottom of my foot. So get home, I realize I have a 3rd-degree burn at the bottom of my foot. I go get it taken care of and walking on crutches for a couple of months. It heals. The doctor's like, okay, you're healing pretty good. You can walk on your tippy toes for a while. You don't got to use the crutches.
Right.
Walking on my tippy toes ended up being a mistake because I broke 3 bones in my foot. And all the complications came from them 3 bones that I broke. Fast forward 5 years later, I got an infection in my foot that spread. MRSA has spread, which could have been a death sentence.
Wow.
The doctor said, you can keep your foot if you want, but it's probably going to spread to your body. I called my lady. I had a conversation with her because I don't think a foot is something you cut off without talking to your significant other.
Right, definitely.
And I just let her know I'm okay with it. Are you okay with it? Because we both going to have to kind of deal with this, you know. And she said, do what you got to do. And 2 days later, I had it amputated. I think January 3rd. I had it amputated. It's been
what year? January 3rd. What year?
2024. It's been like a year and a month ago.
Yeah.
Wow, that's recent.
Yeah. So I got it cut off, and I was home. I was out of work for about 3 or 4 months, just trying to recuperate.
Right.
And I started dialysis before that. I suffered kidney failure 3 years ago.
Wow.
It's something I don't tell a lot of people. Not that I'm trying to hide it.
Yeah.
But I can't be a victim. I can't be sympathized for.
Yeah, right.
That all plays in that rejection part. I can't be taken care of.
Right.
Yeah.
I got to be able to take care of me.
Right.
Because the first moment I feel like that I'm bothering you, I'm a crawl to what I got to go get. I ain't gonna ask you nothing. That's just my personality.
Yeah, that's a man.
So I had an opportunity to, you can do dialysis at the center. You can do it at home. Doing it at home is a lot of steps, and you have to be trained for it, and it's a lot, and it's intimidating to most people. And you got to stick yourself with needles, and you got to do it all. You got to do it all, and you're supposed to have somebody help you with it at home.
Yeah.
No, I need y'all to train me to do it by myself when nobody's home. I got to be able to do it by myself for my sanity.
Right.
Yes.
So I got trained. It took me about 2 months. I learned how to do everything on my own, and I do it at home. I'm able to do it all, and that's for my sanity. And I can still go to work, and I can do the treatment when I want to do it, and it works better for me.
Yeah.
If I had to go to a center, that would drive me crazy.
Right.
But man, I'm telling you, man, I am so super blessed, because with anything that you got going on, it's mind state. You got to have it in your mind of what you gonna do,
right,
and how you gonna do it,
right,
to get past this stuff. Because some of the stuff that I'm going through, or anybody going through, it's crazy. Two people can be going through the exact same thing, and this one person is depressed and on the verge of thinking about suicide, and this other one thriving, and it's all based on mind state,
right,
and your output on life, and what you feel like you got to live for,
right.
And the one thing, like when I lost my limb, my friends will tell you, we joke. And we joke hard, and we joke brutally, and we don't care. Like, you know how people say too soon?
Yeah,
right.
Ain't no such thing as too soon.
They start joking you already.
Listen, I gave them permission to, but I didn't have to. Like when I was in the hospital and it was an emotional moment, I put in my text group, yo, they say I'm about to lose my leg. Yo, y'all better not treat me no differently. Yo, jokes are okay starting now. So, like now, don't y'all come with that bull. Get out, whatever you feel.
Right.
And the next day after surgery, I'm getting texts. I'm getting YouTube links, Tribe Called Quest, Can I Kick It? But that's how me and my friends joke. That's our coping mechanism.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So that's just how. If you know me, that's how we are. That's my love language, joking.
Yeah.
And we joke hard, and it's unapologetic. If you got a lazy eye, we're gonna talk about your eye. that's the way we always been. Like if I don't joke with you, I don't like you.
Right.
That's dope.
What I love about your story is it's a story of strength and resilience.
Yes.
No matter what you go through in life, what challenge you go through in life, you put it in your mind that you're going to overcome it. And I think there's two choices that people make in life. They lay down and accept defeat, or they get up and say, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. You know why? Because I can. You have a choice, and you seem like you've always had the strength to make that choice. Was there ever a moment that you didn't? Or it's been like what you explain to us now?
Man, what I always find the bright side to anything.
There you go.
But you gotta allow yourself time to feel your feels.
Yeah.
Like you can lie to everybody, but you can't lie to yourself.
Say it again. Say it again.
You can't lie to yourself. Woo. You gotta be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, do I have my moments? Of course. Of course I have my moments. But I allow myself to feel my feels.
Yeah.
This is how I'm feeling. This is why I'm feeling. Not what we gonna do. We can't stay here.
Right.
How we like it was moments, man.
Yeah.
Like when I first lost my leg, I was
Go ahead, unpack it. Sorry.
It's little stuff.
Yeah.
I love you, bro. Talk about it.
Talk about it.
Get it out.
And guys, and while we're sitting here in this moment, I want everybody to understand this is real life. And we all gonna face challenges in life, but it's not the challenge you go through, it's how you deal with it and how you move forward. And I want the audience to really learn from this, because this helps us all get stronger. And I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody on this earth perfect. And if you think you perfect, then turn the show off, cut it off, forget about it.
I saw my neighbor take out my trash, and it killed me. Cause I ain't supposed to take out his trash.
Yeah.
Little things.
Yeah.
But I allowed myself. I had to allow myself to feel it. Like it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You gonna be back taking out your trash.
Yeah.
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 But it was little. It'd be the smallest thing like that. Nothing big.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
And so I dealt with that stuff. Just the man stuff a man supposed to be doing, but I'm sitting here, and now my family got to help me get up the steps and help me get to the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's tough for somebody like me.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah. And I feel that because hip hop is such a sport where, you know, when you really think about what you do as an artist, it's all about controlling your destiny. It's all about confidence.
Yeah.
It's all about, you know, sometimes there's some ego involved. Let's be real.
Yeah.
You know, being tough. But when you have moments like that, and you had a real moment, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And the thing about it is, I believe you learned something about yourself that you didn't even realize that was there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because man, no matter what you get, you got to keep going. And whatever, you got one leg, you better hop.
That's right.
You got you just got to keep going, and that's the main reason I even got back into music, because I stopped doing music for a while.
Yeah.
Just because when the Koch deal, the E1 deal ain't do what it's supposed to do, was just such a major blow.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
That I'm like, at the time I'm like 33, 34. I'm feeling like I'm too old.
Right.
Like it's just so I stopped, and then I'm going into my I'm in school,
right,
getting my master's in educational leadership. I'm switching gears.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I gave rap this amount of time, it ain't work.
Right.
Look, I got to do something different. I got a family to take care of. How we gonna do this? So I go into administration, and as an artist, I've never been an artist that, even though you see me early talk about the things I did as a child, I never was an artist that glorified or talked about those things. I never wanted to be a cliche artist. If you rap about red, I'm gonna rap about blue.
There you go.
That's just always been who I am. I'm an Aries.
There you go.
And the one thing you want to do with if you want an Aries not to do something, tell an Aries what everybody doing. That's the quickest way to stop me from doing it.
Right.
So I've never rapped about those things, but I did curse a lot in my music, and I feel like how am I be an administrator and trying to tell these kids the right way to go if I'm not a shining example?
Yeah.
I need to walk, what I'm talking.
Right.
So I stopped for a long time, but eventually I had an aha moment, and I figured out how to rap without cursing.
Right.
And still sound cool. I didn't want to sound corny, man.
Right.
You know, man, y'all know how rap sounds sometimes when you try to be positive. I didn't want it to be corny. Like I still want to sound like it's punchy in the face. I still want the beats to be slapping. But now I'm saying something with it. I figured it out.
Right. So you want a vocabulary without having to resort to cursing.
Yes.
So this really brings me into the next conversation. There's an English teacher working out of the Compton Unified School District in LA. His name is Regis Ings. I hope I'm saying that right. He's Kendrick Lamar's English teacher.
Wow.
All right. Recently, he was highlighted because Kendrick Lamar was really bringing him up in his raps, and somebody contacted him, and they're like, "Hey, this guy K-Dot is talking." He was like, "I don't know a K-Dot. Who's K-Dot?" And they're like, "He's your student." And he said, "Kendrick Lamar?" He's like, "I didn't know he rapped." So he was interviewed. I mean, they really blew it up. And what they talked about is he helped shape Kendrick Lamar's vocabulary. And when you think about his involvement in Kendrick Lamar's life, him being an educator, that's deep.
Yeah.
Think about you're in music, and now you transition to education. What responsibility do you think that you hold now when it comes to that transition of music and education?
Man, I feel like my responsibility in education is to crush all stereotypes. It's to crush all stereotypes. What our perception of not all, because you can't, anything doesn't apply to all, but for a large percentage of our kids, what's cool is associated with negative things. So it's important for the kids to see me in my jewelry, with my casselles, with my shirt and tie, being professional, but talking the lingo they know.
Right.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
You can be hip hop and be educated at the same time.
That's right.
Because all the things they think are cool are associated with uneducated. And that needs to be changed. That needs to be changed. You can do everything that you want to do and still be cool. Why can't you? Why can't you?
You can.
But
you absolutely can.
They have to have examples of it.
That's right.
If they don't see it, who are they going to have to model it for them? And again, this goes back to Coach Freeman. I'm in education because of Coach Freeman. He was the most successful black man I knew, and he was a teacher. So I'm gonna teach because that's what he did. I want to be to somebody what he was to me.
Wow.
And so I've been able to do that. And I started teaching. When I first started teaching, I felt like an imposter. I'm like, I ain't good at this. I'm a hip hop dude, good at teaching. But my strength in teaching has always been mentorship.
Okay.
Kids have always gravitated towards me. And in a 22-year education career, I've been blessed to be named Teacher of the Year twice in 2 separate school systems.
Talk about it.
Wow. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. I was also 3 years ago named Assistant Principal of the Year for Newport News Public Schools.
Wow, that's dope.
So I've been able to excel in education and be recognized for my mentorship and that relationship building with kids. And I connect with the toughest ones.
And they call you Unc too, right?
Unc. The ones that don't nobody want, them the ones I connect to because I was once there, and I'm able to build a bridge with the ones that everybody's scared of.
Wow.
And it's simple. It's relationship building.
Wow.
You know, you see the kids that don't want you to talk to them that look like they're going to cuss you out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I walk up to them.
You.
Yeah. I walk up to them on the first day of school, be like, yo, Phil, who your favorite rapper? Lil Uzi Vert. He trash. And then I walk off. I don't really think Lil Uzi trash, but I say that. Next day I see him. Yo, you still listen to Lil Uzi Vert? Yo, well, who you listen to? I listen to Jayz. Oh, he old school.
Yeah.
We building a relationship.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, when you flip it in the hallway, and I say, yo, what you doing, Phil? Come here. It's not a negative interaction because our first interaction wasn't negative. So now you're not, if that was our first interaction, you gonna cuss me out, you gonna buck on me. But no, I'm dude that's been conversating with you about basketball, rap. I called your football team trash. Now when I check you, come here, man. Let's go in my office. Yo, why you out there tripping? It's a different conversation.
Whole different conversation.
It's a different conversation. And that's what I use to build those relationships with those type of kids. Because those type of kids need somebody too.
Wow.
And so that's my superpower in education.
That's dope.
I want to do a pause really quick, and I'm going to revert to the Nation of Islam, message to the black man. At 5 years old, his dream probably was to be in the NFL. Probably was to be the greatest rapper of all time. But right here in the middle, standing right here, is an influential, educated man with a degree, vice principal of a school who is making impact. Message to the black man: always have a fallback.
You better.
Always
And that's a heck of a fallback. That's a heck of a fallback right there. I mean, it's just, just for those who don't know, assistant vice principal. My daughter's actually going to his school next year.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So when you think about the connection to the community, and you hit it right, the nail on the head, it made me think about Morgan Freeman playing in Lean on Me, and think about what he did for that school. And so many times you got kids that are left behind because there's nobody in the community to connect with them on their level. So when you ask them about the latest Uzi Vert song and you walk off, what you did was you planted a seed.
Yeah.
So that he didn't look at you as the next person walking up to him that don't care about him.
Everybody needs somebody to hold them accountable.
There you go.
But the relationship got to be built first.
That's right.
It got to be. I'm not gonna listen to somebody who don't know me.
Yeah.
Like my homeboy can look at me right now and be like, "What up, fat boy?" Ain't a problem.
Right.
You don't know me and you call me fat boy?
It's a whole different story.
It's a problem.
Right.
It's a relationship piece.
Right.
And the way I talk to kids, you wouldn't believe the way I talk to kids.
Yeah.
But the relationship is there. It's the language that speaks to them.
Right.
And I'm able to get them to move in different ways that they probably nobody else can get them to move.
That's dope.
Because it's a relationship.
That's dope.
It's something powerful about a kid not wanting to let you down.
Real quick. Plug. Talk about GoatVerse TV.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We just launched. Me and shout out to my homie CEOP. Shout out to Gifted Entertainment, man. We just had GoatCon last week, and we previewed, and we're launching our brand new app.
Yes.
You can get this app on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick, on your phone. You can get it in the Apple Store, the Play Store, and basically it's an app that houses content of all sorts of things, from podcasts to sporting events, to political talk, music of all genres, and we're looking for content for the app, and you can get exclusive content on the app. That's what the app for. You can eventually get it on YouTube. You can eventually get it other places, but if you come to the GoatVerse TV, you can get it there first. Awesome. For example, big announcement. I have not made this announcement anywhere.
You gonna make it right now?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Early summer, I'm dropping my first album and single in over 10 years.
Woo!
The name of the album is Only Built for Goats.
Nice.
7 songs, is a visual album. It will have 7 videos to go with the album.
Dope.
You will eventually be able to get it everywhere. We will drop a video every month, but you will be able to watch all 7 of them early. If you download GoatVerse TV, you download the app, you get it all right then and there. If not, you just wait for it to come out every month.
Wow.
So that's kind of the foundation of the app. We're looking for partnerships with content creators to bring their content to the app. We're not saying don't put it on YouTube. Put it on YouTube. Just give us a 48-hour head start. Make it exclusive.
Yes.
Make it exclusive.
Yeah.
You put it on GoatVerse TV, and you have about this much stuff to compete with. You put it on YouTube first, you competing with billions of things.
Talk about.
Because guess what? I'm not just putting my stuff on GoatVerse TV, but it's going there first. That's all we saying.
No doubt.
Let's make it home of the exclusives.
No doubt.
So it's available now. Download is a free app, man. It's dope. I love what we're doing. It's a beautiful thing. You feel me?
Wow.
How was this idea brought to fruition? What was it? Just an idea at one point? Did you get with some of your partners? Tell us what
man,
that looked like.
It started during COVID, man. We was all in the house, and me and my we discovered Zoom just like that.
As a lot of people have.
We was all in the house. So me and I have most of my friends are half of my friends are childhood friends. Mm-hmm. The other half of my friends are friends from college.
Yeah, and
I fused all of them. When I moved back home, all my hood friends met my college friends. And it's funny because we all like brothers now.
Yeah.
So we'll get on the Zoom every day, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 of us on Zoom. Dope. Talking, building ideas. And we like to argue hip hop. We argue hip hop all day. And so we developed a show out of it called Goat Talk. And we developed that show and we started shooting. And as we started shooting, we started realizing, and we talked about this earlier before the cameras come on, that, oh man, we need our own cameras.
Right.
Oh, we need to be able to do so. We just start buying stuff and getting our own stuff to. Now we got our own room, our own studio that we shoot out of, and it's called Studio 757. We rent it to other people who want to shoot.
Wow.
And we were able to develop that out of that, and we was like, man, we need an app. So we started talking about developing the app and all this thing. You know, the thing is, you know, none of us are rich.
Right.
We do good for ourselves, but we don't have the capital to just be dumping into this stuff all the time.
Right.
We waiting to get paid and we going into savings just like everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're steadily buying these things and we're realizing that you know it's not an overnight thing.
Right.
So we do something small every day.
Right.
Every day we on it.
There you go.
And the next thing you look up, a year done passed, and you're like, look at what we got. It almost feel like it happened overnight. But it's just really, you can't take any days off. Even if the most minute thing, but you're thinking about it and you're working on it every day until you look up and you're like,
levels. levels. You leveling up.
So all this happened over like a 3 or 4 year period.
Dope.
Just little things every day. Yeah. So that's how we got here, man. Yeah. And we blessed, and it's just a good feeling, man. I'm in a great space. I recently got back into the church.
Come on, now.
I ain't went to church in 20-something years.
Wow.
Man.
Come on now.
Wow. But I recently got back to church. I've been going every Sunday about 4 months straight now.
That's a blessing.
Refuge Nation over there with Joe Baker.
Joe Baker. That's my man.
And I even got involved, man. I do the church announcements in the morning. I felt my place.
Wow.
And, I love it because I grew up in the church. My granddad is a preacher. And I always felt like if this is the standard for Christianity and I know I'm not there yet.
Right.
I don't need to be walking into church until I get there. But what I've learned from Pastor Baker is no. You come every week, just like with the marketing plan. You do something small every day.
Yeah.
And you're gonna look up and you're gonna be exactly where you want to be.
That's right.
So I ain't where I want to be, but I'm getting there.
That's right. Come as you are.
It's happening. It's happening with the music. I ain't making gospel music yet, but it's clean and it's inspiration.
There you go.
I love it.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
so.
Right.
Working on me as a person and accepting the fact that I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect.
Right.
But I'm working on being better every day and being comfortable in my own skin. And it's okay to be a principal. And it's okay to be a rapper. And it's okay to be a comedian. And it's okay to go to church. Right. And it's okay to take care of your family. And it's okay to laugh with your friends. And it's okay to like things.
Talk about it.
And all these things work together for the greater good of who you are and to stop keeping them separate. Because for a while, I compartmentalized everything.
Right.
But all these things are part of me and everybody deserves to see all of it at the same time. And in order for me to reach my full potential, I have to celebrate all of it in all walks of life.
Well said. Well said.
Well, we're getting close to the end of the podcast. And before we go, we always like to play a little game. And we just a little tap back, from what you've been doing. It's called Greatest of All Time. Greatest of All Time. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant.
Woo. Man, I'm 45 years old. You can't ask me no question like that. Before you even go on any question, if you my age, it's Mike. It's Mike. And it's Mike.
And it's Mike.
Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson. If your name ain't Mike, don't talk to me. It's Mike.
It's Mike. All day long.
It's Mike.
There you go.
Okay.
And if it's football, Michael Vick. It's still Mike.
Shout out to Mike Vick.
Mike.
Norfolk
It's
State.
Mike.
It's Mike.
It's Mike. I want to be like Mike.
You know, if you grew up in our era, man, and I think, to be honest, man,
yes, sir.
when you talk the greatest of all time conversation, it's going to be based on generations. The kids didn't get to see Mike play, so it's not going to resonate with them the same way.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I don't knock them for saying Kobe or LeBron, and the younger kids ain't even saying them. They're saying stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But my daddy and I was like, man, Dr. J, man, he was a bad man, jammer. They don't even want to hear about Mike for real. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right.
True.
Yeah. Right.
and we say Michael Jackson, everything Michael Jackson.
Gotcha.
My granddaddy gonna be like, James Brown was a bad man, jammer, man. Everybody got their own from their generation, and I respect that.
No doubt.
Facts.
But let's be honest about our culture. It's too many things from our culture that still stick around. Look, they still wearing our sneakers. They still watching our movies.
That's right. That's right.
Our culture was great.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So-
Greatest of all time. Kevin Hart, Eddie Murphy, Mike Epps, Richard Pryor.
Woo!
Greatest of all time.
That's easy.
Still an era thing, man.
Uh-huh.
Eddie Murphy, man.
Eddie Murphy. Woo!
Eddie Murphy.
Over Richard Pryor.
Eddie Murphy.
Murphy.
I'm gonna tell you the separation.
Damn.
They both stellar stand-up career.
Okay.
Right?
Now we're talking about overall package, everything.
Everything.
Okay.
Eddie Murphy trumps him in movies all day.
All day.
All day.
Bars.
You Coming to America?
Bars.
Who doesn't know every line of that movie?
Yes.
You know the whole movie. I'm happy to be here. You can say anything from that movie.
Facts.
my
it's
gosh.
too many. Like Eddie. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Facts.
Oh man.
Facts.
Dope.
Facts. Greatest of all time. Kendrick Lamar, Rakim, KRS-One, or Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Why?
Jay-Z is my favorite rapper of all time. I'm not saying he's the best in any category, but statistically, if you use all categories,
Right.
he's in the top in all of them. So when you add it all together, it might be a better lyricist to him. It might be somebody to tell better stories to him.
Right.
It might be somebody to pick better beats than him.
Right.
It might be somebody better in all categories.
Yeah.
But nobody's going to have a spot in all the categories. He's top 3 in all of them somewhere. He might not be number 1.
There you go.
But that overall gives him the
balance.
overall package, and he proves that he can rap. He's a lyricist, but he also knows how to make a song, which makes him. And then he was always the person I looked up to for how he ran his companies. Is how I modeled my company, how I modeled my business, and things off of what he did.
Okay.
Because he's a guy from the hood that's very smart and doesn't try to hide his smartness. He's not ashamed to be smart.
I love it.
So I've always looked up to that.
Okay. Last but not least, greatest of all time. And we just talking high school. That's all we talking. All right. That's the disclaimer. We just talking high school. Greatest of all time.
Athletes?
I'm about to name him.
I'm about to say, you ain't got to say no names.
I'm about to give it to you.
Okay.
I'm about to give it to you. Greatest of all time.
I hope you say his name.
Let me put my seatbelt on for this. Hold on.
Buckle up. Greatest of all time. Overall package. High school. Allen Iverson.
Knew it.
Michael Vick. Ronald Curry. Greatest of all time.
Ronald Curry is the greatest high school athlete ever.
Talk about it.
Talk about it.
Double XL.
Don't get me wrong. I feel like Allen Iverson has a strong case,
Okay.
but he didn't get to have a senior year. If he got to have a senior year, who knows?
Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? But Ronald Curry lost one game in high school football. One game. And that was to Deep Creek in the playoffs, and they had a running back, a fullback by the name of Deion Dyer, who was about 240 pounds that couldn't nobody tackle. He went to UNC, played for the Tar Heels, couldn't nobody tackle. And that was his freshman year. He almost had 4 state championships. I played against Ronald Curry 4 times in high school.
You did. Did you beat him?
I touched him 1 time. And that's when we dapped up at the end of the game. I can't even tell you what his jersey feel like. I've seen him score any way you can score, except for throw a touchdown to himself. I just seen him in one game return a punt, a kickoff, a interception for a touchdown, run it in. He's a credit, and he ain't even like 4.4 fast. He looks like he's jogging. Devon on top of, I watch him catch a punt return and wait for the people to come. He just stood there, just held the ball like this, and waited for them to converge.
Virginia talent.
Look, you ever been like a family reunion and there's a bunch of little kids playing football and they like 8?
Yeah.
And then there's a 14-year-old out there juking them, and you're like, man, why you playing with them little kids?
Right.
That was Ronald Curry.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I ain't never seen nothing like it. Think about this. Michael Vick is a all-pro football player, #1 draft pick, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
First overall.
Yeah.
Changed, revolutionized the game.
Right.
The black quarterbacks now all point to him as their influence.
Yes.
Right.
Michael Vick was never first team all district. Wow. Never first team all region, never first team all state.
And who was?
Ronald Curry. Wow. And then he would show up the basketball season 2 weeks late and then go win a state championship there. Woo! He brought the McDonald All-American game to Hampton, Virginia.
No, he didn't.
And won the slam dunk competition and was MVP of the game.
My God.
My God.
He was different
He was different.
and humble.
He was
He
different.
didn't even have to be humble.
Wow.
Quiet confidence. Ain't say you see him. What's up, man? Cool.
Wow.
But that was a bad boy. If you grew up with that in that era, you grew up in a era.
Oh yeah.
Ronald Curry. And it ain't close.
Ronald,
said
the
it
great,
ain't close.
the great Curry. Woo. Well, we got to the end, but Moses, we're gonna hit him with the last question. Tell him what 80,000 is about, man.
Man, I'm still trying to get myself together for the greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time.
So 80,000. You unpacked a lot, and I really appreciate.
And we got to bring Double XL back because we got so much more.
I mean, we could have probably went for 3 hours.
Yes,
but
yes.
Are you living for 80 years, or do you want to take your legacy and your impact well beyond 80,000 years?
I want to take my legacy and impact way beyond 80,000 years. I think that's what we all eventually want.
Yes.
When you're young, you're thinking about living forever.
Yeah.
The older you get, you realize that mortality is a real thing, and you want to plant a seed to have legacy.
Yeah.
You want to leave something behind.
Yeah.
So definitely 80,000.
I want to mention something really, really quick. And I've been around a lot of, so-called celebrities or famous people, however you want to call it. I've seen them all, from Michael Jackson to Mike Jordan to Allen Iverson. I've seen them all. But I want to tell you right now, the man sitting in the middle of this floor right now, and I'd always been around these type of people, but I'm gonna let you know, many, many years back, I was in the auditorium, and I'm gonna tell you, this is about over 10 years ago, I was just doing security. But the biggest person in the room when he walked in was the immaculate, the incredible, the living legend that you see before yourself right now, Double XL. And I'm gonna tell you right now, from this interview, from what you learned, and there's so much more that we could have impacted or we could have brought forth. But still, to this day, brother, I love you so much, and you are still the biggest person.
Lay two, no doubt. That's love.
So I'm gonna give you a flash now. And before we go, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, we want to send our condolences to the legendary Angie Stone. She passed away this morning.
Oh man,
yeah.
She got into a car accident and she passed away. And we just want to give our condolences to family and friends.
Definitely.
Angie Stone is a legend, and she got a catalog, and she will be forever missed. Angie, you in heaven, but we love you so much, and we want to say thank you for blessing us with your presence, your voice, and your impact. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of this episode of 80 or 80,000. And always remember that if God be for you, then who can possibly be against you? The legendary Double XL is in the building. Thank you so much, my brother. Good night, baby.
And if you love what you saw today and you got some information,
like and subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. 80,000.
Yes.
We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We are anywhere your podcast, iHeartRadio. Go Verse TV. We gotta make that happen. We gotta make it happen, yo. Let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.